I'm going to talk to you in this video about trying to convince. This is one of the major mistakes that we make in our difficult relationships, is getting ourselves backed into corners where we're trying to convince somebody of our truth, trying to convince somebody of a particular point, and just exhausting ourselves because we find that even though it feels futile, we don't give up. We keep trying, we keep pushing, we keep trying another way until we get exhausted, we get it thrown back on us. Here's an example of a woman who wrote this email to me. She says, I simply asked him to let me know ahead of time what his plans were, to show me that he respects my schedule. Instead, he accused me of being picky and selfish. I find myself arguing I am not picky and I am not selfish. I just want to be given consideration. He responds by saying that the fact that I am continuing to argue proves that I am difficult. At this point, I am so exasperated and I'm angry. I find myself losing it. I'm mad at him, and then I'm mad at myself from getting caught in this situation again. Why can't I just get him to consider my feelings and opinions? And why can't I recognize that it's useless to try to make him listen? I feel like I can never get him to deal with the things I bring up. I'll bet you there's a lot of you watching this that are like, oh yeah, that's my letter, my email. I do that all the time, and I feel exactly the same. I'm frustrated, I'm exasperated, I'm angry, but I'm not only angry at the other person, I'm angry with myself. Why did I allow myself to get drug into this again? And it is the number one thing that we do. And I tell people when I teach on this topic of speaking the truth in love to a difficult person, number one thing you have to start off with is stop thinking that you're going to convince the other person of your truth. Just let it go. Recognize that you speak your truth because you need to speak your truth. You feel better when you say it. You don't say it to convince the other person. You don't say it to get the other person to agree with you. You don't say it to get the other person to give you approval or for the other person to change their mind because you're explaining it. You say it because you need to. It's your truth. You feel better about saying it, but then you put it out there and you let it go. You don't keep arguing it. That woman would have been much better off just to say, please let me know your schedule ahead of time. And then the next time that this person does not let her know their schedule ahead of time, she needs to take action. She needs to not accommodate this person's last minute schedule change or this last minute schedule announcement. She needs to go ahead with her own plans. She needs to do what she was already going to do. She needs to make sure that she backs up that request of please let me know your schedule ahead of time with the appropriate action when she is not given this person's schedule ahead of time. If that person calls and says, I need you to do something for me, she can say, I can't. I've already got plans. I can't make an adjustment. That is the way that this person and people like this will learn if they're ever going to learn. They're not going to do it because you're arguing with them, because they will always one-up you. The minute that you bring up one point, they'll bring up another point. If you listen to all of these points, when whatever she brought up, this person had an answer that flipped it around back onto her to where it blamed her, made her the bad guy. She was always the one that was the person that was making it difficult. There never was any acknowledgement of the fact that she had a reasonable request because of something this other person did. That was not said once. And no matter how long she would have continued that conversation, it wasn't ever going to be said. So again, when you find yourself trying to convince another person of your truth, of what you need, what you want, stop. Stop trying to convince. State your truth. You may need to restate it exactly like you said it. You might need to restate it at a different time, but say your truth, let it go. Don't argue about it. Don't try to convince the person. But when that opportunity comes up to back up what you said with your action, don't miss that opportunity. Make sure that you do. Proverbs 23:23 says, buy the truth and do not sell it. Wisdom, instruction, and insight as well. Remember that. Hold on to this truth. It is a big one. It will make a huge difference for you in these difficult relationships if you refuse to argue, defend, to try to convince. Proverbs 18:2 says, remember this one, fools find no pleasure in understanding, but delight in airing their own opinions. This person is not trying to understand where you're coming from, so this person can adjust behavior. This person is doing nothing more than just continually pointing the finger and one-upping you and trying to trip you up so that you can't have your original statement dealt with, because a person doesn't intend to respond to your original statement. In this lady's case, it was, please let me know your schedule ahead of time. Okay, so I hope that this helped you. I hope that you will come back and watch more videos on my YouTube channel, Change My Relationship, and also my website, changemyrelationship.com, for my books, my studies, my classes, and more. So thank you for watching this video on Change My Relationship.